Have you ever wondered why some women, particularly those over 40 and unmarried, often feel like they're losing in their relationships? It's not an uncommon sentiment, and it's one that deserves a deeper look. In our journey today, we're going to explore the choices these women have made in their relationships. Have they bypassed perfect partners? Have they taken those who were right for them for granted? These are the questions we'll be pondering. It's also essential to consider the impact of these choices. How have they influenced these women's lives? Have they led to lonely nights, or the need to fill the void with frequent girls' trips, or spending excessive time with their children? And what about their attitudes and inflexibility? Could being stuck in their ways have played a part in their current predicaments? Let's delve into the reasons behind these emotions and choices. At the core of this issue, we find a common thread: the men they've overlooked while chasing others. It's like a dance where one partner is always out of step, creating a discordant rhythm. These women, in their prime, often fail to appreciate the men who are truly suitable for them. Instead, they chase after partners who may not align with their lives and aspirations. This is not about settling. It's about understanding compatibility and long-term happiness over short-term thrill. The men these women overlook are often the ones who share their values, who can provide stability, emotional support, and a nurturing environment. These are men who could have been partners in the true sense of the word, but were dismissed as boring, or too nice, or simply not exciting enough. However, as time passes, these women start to realize the missed opportunities. They look back and see the men they've taken for granted, the relationships they have allowed to slip through their fingers. It's a bitter pill to swallow, acknowledging that they made choices that have led them to where they are now, feeling like they're on the losing end of relationships. This realization often comes with a heavy dose of regret and bitterness. They start to see themselves as losers in the game of love, not because they can't find men, but because they've let the right ones get away. The missed opportunities weigh heavily on them, creating a sense of loneliness and isolation. They start to feel like they're on the outside looking in, watching others enjoy the companionship and partnership they yearn for. It's a feeling of being left behind, of missing the train while they were too busy chasing after the wrong one. This is the root of the problem. It's not about being unmarried or being over 40. It's about the choices these women have made and the partners they've overlooked. This is what leads to the feeling of being a loser in relationships. So, the cycle of loneliness begins, filled with solitary nights and an attempt to fill the void. How does one cope with this loneliness? Some turn to their children, others to their friends, in an attempt to combat the hollow emptiness that often accompanies solitude. These women employ various coping mechanisms. The most prominent among these are immersing themselves in the company of their children, or embarking on adventurous girl trips with friends. Think about it. There's a unique, heartwarming joy that comes from nurturing and spending time with your children. It's a bond that's unbreakable, a love that's unconditional. These women, they bask in this love, using it as a shield against the cold winds of loneliness. They find comfort in their children's laughter, solace in their innocent smiles. Then there are those who seek the companionship of their friends. The thrill of packing your bags and setting off on an adventure with your best girlfriends is indeed a tempting distraction. The laughter, the camaraderie, the shared experiences. They all serve as a balm, soothing the ache of absence. These trips aren't just about the destination, they're about the journey. They're about the shared stories, the mutual support, the collective joy and sorrow. This shared bond, this sisterhood, is a powerful antidote to loneliness. Yet, these activities, while enjoyable, don't completely fill the void. They may provide a temporary respite, a momentary distraction. But when the laughter subsides and the children are asleep, the void returns, as deep and as wide as ever. Could attitude and rigidity play a part in this situation? Imagine this. You're at a dinner party, and there's a woman across the room alone, exuding a vibe that's a mix of indifference and hostility. She's set in her ways, unwilling to make compromises, and her negative attitude is palpable. This isn't an inviting image, is it? In relationships, attitude and rigidity can act as invisible barriers. If a woman is stuck in her ways, it can be challenging for a potential partner to envision a shared future. A relationship is a dance of give and take, compromise and understanding. If one person is rigid and unwilling to adjust, it creates an imbalance that can be hard to rectify. A negative attitude, on the other hand, can act as a deterrent. It's like a dark cloud that hovers, casting a gloom that's hard to ignore. Potential partners may be put off, choosing to avoid the storm rather than weather it. This can result in the woman feeling like a loser in relationships. These attitudes can be a product of past experiences or fear of vulnerability. However, it's important to remember that change is possible. Self-awareness, patience, and a willingness to alter these attitudes can lead to more fulfilling relationships. It's clear that these factors contribute to the feeling of losing in relationships. So, what have we learned about why some unmarried women over 40 might feel like losers in relationships? We've delved into a number of factors. First, we discussed the impact of poor relationship choices. This often means overlooking men who are well suited for them, leading to a string of unsatisfying relationships. Next, we explored the missed opportunities. These are instances where potential partners were taken for granted only to be regretted later. Then, we looked at the coping mechanisms used to fill the void of not having a partner. This includes everything from girl trips to spending more time with children. While these activities can be fulfilling, they can also be a mask for loneliness. Lastly, we examined the role of attitude and rigidity. Being set in one's ways and harboring a negative outlook can deter potential partners and perpetuate cycles of dissatisfaction. Understanding these factors can help us empathize and perhaps even change the narrative for these women.